call this meeting to order. Good evening, everybody. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. On announcements tonight, I just wanted to note that the board did go into executive session to discuss a legal update, real estate update, and an administrative our succession planning as that goes on. And this is a regular business meeting tonight. So that is all the announcements we had. Can I have a motion to adopt an agenda? Petra is first. Naomi is second. All in favor? Thank you. And then we're going to start with Board of Education comments, and then I'll have the students go, and then we'll do public comments after that. So let me start here with
Good. I have nothing yet.
Okay. Petra?
I can't think of anything, but maybe by the end of the meeting.
Come up with something.
I just wanted to say I felt the first day it was a wonderful opening. So many people there and everybody seeing what's coming up. It was really exciting. I enjoyed it myself. So the rest of you, I hope you did. It's wonderful.
Thanks, Carla. Andrea?
Yes, I agree that the walkthroughs were so much fun. I get to go back to Buana, and it's just the energy was really cool. I'm sure it's declined a tad as the week has gone on, but it was really, really great to see, for sure. Thank you.
Echo. I especially loved Ms. Glasheen's change up with the boards that showed favorites, whether it was a quote or food. I thought that was interesting, and a really nice change in it. Built a lot of excitement. I want to welcome our student rep to the table. I guess the titles are slightly different. I know we'll hear from our students from Senate, but as far as our board rep, welcome you, and I look forward to hearing how the training goes next Wednesday. That I know will be live streamed, but I know that there's going to be more to come. But that's something that's new, first of its kind. So I hope you'll share with us your experience, and I'll save all my other comments for later and for the good order.
Mary Colleen?
Echoing what others are saying about our walkthroughs, it was fantastic, and the thing that always amazes me is the differences in each school, even the ones that in the elementary schools that are even sharing like that central area, that the ecosystem for each elementary school is different, and it's lovely. It's fantastic, and you can tell that there's so much pride there with the students, and certainly the teachers and the administrators are doing an amazing job.
Thank you. And then finally, echo exponentially, but a heartfelt thanks for your message, Dr. Wilson-Turner. Inspiring, impactful, setting a clear, thoughtful message for the year. Your dedication and vision was felt by many, and just truly inspirational. So thank you so much for that. And the walkthroughs, like Naomi said, I love the new vibe. I love the Instagram posts. Our new social media life is awesome. So looking forward to that and the posts. So great job, Brett. All right. And ending that, why don't we hear from our student reps? We're going to let Eric go first. Yes, I do. So Eric, just make sure that mic is on. It will turn a color if you get that top. There's a slider.
Slide to the left.
Okay, I think it's on.
Awesome.
You hear? Okay, so for students, open house for high school east will be on September 29th. So that's coming up for parents and students. They can go around. For high school west, it's going to be September 30th. An exciting event we have coming up is homecoming dance, brought by Senate, and spirit rally will be on October 10th after school, and also the PSAT is coming up for students on October 18th. Sports have started recently, and personally for me, that's it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time tonight, Erin.
Eric, I did have one question. The homecoming dance, is it the same date as the is the game? Is the football game, is the dance the same,
Football game.
the home, on homecoming?
It's usually
It's
Saturday.
It's
usually
not.
Saturday.
Usually
which would be
Saturday.
It's Saturday,
Yeah.
but is it the same weekend?
Usually.
It should,
Okay.
usually is,
It's
yes.
on Saturday.
Okay.
It'll be a home game on Friday, I would expect.
Correct, yeah, the home game's on
Yeah,
Friday,
yeah.
okay. I was, the dates, there was some confusion on the dates. Okay, thank you.
We have started our Senate, our regular meetings. We had our first Senate meeting this past Monday, and there we kind of had a lot of our committees going on because that's really like a good way that we get a lot of different student opinion within the Senate and manage a lot of our projects. So some of the like committees that we've started is our PTSA committee because all senators are part of the PTSA, and we're applying for a grant that's a completely student-run project, and we're basing it off of like mental health and going on the outdoors. So we've been setting up a committee for that, and so we've been like getting submissions for people to join, so we've been doing that. We're also starting, there's two other new committees, one on breast cancer awareness, that these two other sophomores that have like started, and they're gonna work with the Senate to have, to like help with that. And then we also have another committee that they've created that's somewhat like UNICEF, they explained, but was more focused on like childhood illness, and like as UNICEF, focuses on all people of all ages, that this one will specifically be based on children because, like us, we're teens, like we have that relation, and that'll be working on like fundraising and like raising awareness on those types of things.
So I'm just gonna talk about some Senate events that we have coming up. Obviously, we're planning for Spirit Rally next week. On Monday, we're planning to host an event where we have all of our Senate members come together, and we're going to make the banners used during Spirit Rally for all the teams to run through like last year. And for homecoming, right now, we've made some posters and we've hung them up today for homecoming. That's all I have to say.
You guys are busy. Love it. It's great. As the year starts off, it's always crazy busy, so that's good stuff. Looking forward to it. Okay, so being that it's a business public meeting tonight, this is an opportunity for residents to address the Board of Education. The board reminds residents that the public comment portion of our meeting is only one item in a long agenda. We therefore ask that each speaker be as succinct as possible and that remarks be limited to 2 to 3 minutes. In an effort to ensure that the widest number of community viewpoints are heard, the board asks members of groups or the public to withhold comment if their viewpoints have already been presented. We would also expect that residents speak in a respectful and courteous manner so as to model proper civility and decorum for our students. Comments or questions regarding a specific staff member or student are confidential and will not be allowed or addressed by the board. District residents may also send questions, concerns, comments to the BOE@shenschools.org. All questions, comments come to the Office of the Public Information and are shared with the board and the superintendent. Policy questions, concerns are typically addressed by the board president. Operational questions, concerns are typically addressed by the superintendent and/or designee. Please provide your name if you are coming up and address in the event follow-up is necessary. Do we have anybody from the public tonight? Hi.
My name is Mike Mumford. I have 2 boys that go to Coda. So I have 2 things. I'd like to address what process are we in at hiring a full-time superintendent? It seems like that process should have started by now. At least, I would dare say it would be a consulting firm, and then a nationwide search, and then everybody just puts their hat in. I work at West. If I want an hour or more, I have to do a full interview against people that I work with. So, and that's within weeks of somebody leaving. So I'm just wondering how that process works, and have we started it, or how that goes?
Yeah, so just so you know, we won't answer, this isn't a give and take.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so somebody will get back to you, probably me.
Second.
With the board involved.
The transportation.
Yeah.
It's been late every day. We're not reinventing the wheel. I feel like it's bad every year. My younger son got 4 different routes and 4 different bus drivers when he first got it. I know people that were completely blamed. I just feel like we need to address whether it's privatization of it, whether it's, however it goes, but, I work at West, I watch 300 to 400 cars pull up and drop off kids every day. Half the buses are empty in high school. Is there a way we can opt out kids if you're gonna drop off every day? Getting home is not usually a problem because so many kids stay for sports, stay after school, it's coming in, and that makes the middle school late. So they're not getting in until, 10, 15 minutes into first block. So, usually by now it should be worked out. I know it's only been a few days, but it's kind of been a mess. And it's not like the first time it's happened either, so that's all.
No, appreciate your comments tonight. Can I just get you with Vanessa, just to get your name, and then I can, we can follow up with you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your comments tonight. Anybody else from the public? Vanessa, you didn't have anybody come through?
No.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, going on from there, superintendent's report.
So good evening. I would just like to make a few comments, pretty much echoing some of the things around the table. The first day of school is always an exciting time, especially for those of us who work throughout the summer where it's a little bit quieter and a little bit emptier around here. And so even our superintendent's conference day represents a time where there's a buzz back on campus as our faculty and staff get back together after not seeing each other over the course of the summer and get excited about the prospect of a new school year. And so it was truly my honor on Superintendent's Conference Day to have the opportunity to address our faculty and staff, to share some key big rocks for us this year aligned to our district goal, mission, and vision. And really just have an opportunity to connect and walk around to the additional professional learning that was so well planned through our Office of Professional Learning, our academic administrators, and our building principals. And so in a conversation today, I was talking with someone about how important it is, while we keep our children at the center as they are our why, and the reason we all get to come to work here every day, it is critically important that we continue to feed our faculty what they need to be incredibly successful in the work that they do. And so that's what the first day of school for staff feels like. The first day of school for students is unmatched. I will just go on record as saying that as an educator, every new school year, I think all of us get a little bit excited, probably more excited than the kids, to welcome back new faces and see what the experience will be for the year, and this year did not disappoint. I say thank you to each of you for giving up 2 days of your time to really spend time in the first days of school with our faculty, staff, and students, and really see how our district gets started, all the incredible work that happens over the summer for buildings to be ready, curriculum to be ready, and for us to be ready to welcome students. So it was a great few days of opening of school. Just a quick enrollment update for you all. We welcomed 258 new families to Shen this fall, 158 elementary students, and over 50 middle school, high school, and pre-K students. And so we continue to welcome new families, and we hope to welcome even more new families as we bring on our full-day early learning center in the coming year. I know the big topic of conversation was cell phones as we got ready over the summer to start the school year. And I want to say thank you to our faculty, staff, and our administrators and our students for really working together to figure out the best way to implement this requirement for our schools. And I think as we've said many times over the course of the summer, we have been building up to this, I think, for a while. Our middle schools and high schools have had things in place to support students not being distracted in class from their cell phones. And so we instituted some new practices at the high school. I think the kids are calling them a cell phone hotel that sits in the classroom just 10 feet away, where they have systems established where they're able to go in and place their cell phone as a part of entering the classroom. They have full visibility of it, so they know it hasn't gone anywhere, but it's not distracting them. And to their credit, I think our students, as we fully expect each and every time, have risen to the occasion of being responsible and adhering to the expectations we've set for them, and requesting support when needed. And hopefully you'll see a few of our students on the news because they were interviewed this morning about the impact of the cell phone policy. And most of them were able to say, we're figuring it out. We put it in a little hotel. We miss having it at lunch and in the hallways, but we are, increasing our engagement and able to be successful in this setting. So rest assured, we're off to a good start with that, and we'll continue to seek feedback from our families and our students and our staff to make sure that that continues to be implemented in an effective way.
So diving after this, Jenny Scalia is gonna come up. We have one tenure recommendation tonight.
Okay, good evening. So we do have one recommendation in front of you tonight for tenure. That is Alyssa Seligman, is a math teacher here within the district. Alyssa has completed a 3-year probationary appointment in the tenure area of secondary mathematics. Alyssa was hired in October of 2022 and works with students in the high school. And I believe Alyssa is here with us tonight. So I think we want to make a motion and then have Alyssa come up.
So we're all very excited because math teachers are hard to come by, almost as much as tech. So can I get a motion? Gustus first, Naomi a second, all in favor? Awesome.
Great,
Come on up.
motion.
I guess we'll see her next month. Thank you so much for that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations.
And congratulations to her family and those beautiful students that I'm seeing, future students that I'm seeing back there, over there, so.
We're excited for the kindergarten building.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So Dr. Wilson Turner, I think you're gonna talk about the NISBA delegate resolutions?
So we received late Monday, am I getting that right? Monday we received, our 2025 proposed bylaw amendment and resolutions for NISBA. And as you know, Ms. Naomi Hoffman is our voting delegate. And so we have a process by which we will seek feedback, and that means giving you all time to read through the resolutions, so that we have a sense of what we have an interest in supporting when Naomi is sitting at the table. And so Ms. Hoffman and I will set up a time to meet, to look through these resolutions together. We'll also seek some input from our administrators on the valuable resolutions that they think are worth bringing forward, to ensure that our voice is represented at the table at the NISBA resolutions determinations.
What's the timeframe? Sorry.
It's in here.
So it is earlier.
It is.
Well, you mean time frame for submitting them or time?
Well, I was just curious how much time we have to read it and give,
To review.
give feedback.
Oh,
So I'll put a note in the Friday bulletin to give you a sense of how long, and really it will need to be before Ms. Hoffman and I sit down and meet, so that we have your feedback and that we can meet the timeline that's been, or deadline that's been set for us.
yeah, it will be before the convention. I want to say it's 2 weeks before the convention. Something like
All I remember is you
Yeah,
having,
it's coming up
being
fast.
up till like midnight or
It
1
was
o'clock one
ridiculous.
morning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How long was that? That was insane.
That was
Yeah,
my first
last
year.
year,
Was that your first year?
Yeah.
Last year,
Said 8 hours.
resolution, and you had to vote on every single one, and you
It's
couldn't
a long,
leave.
it's a long.
Cause then, and they were like begging by the end, please don't leave, cause we're gonna lose quorum. We were like down like 2
I remember.
people, like couldn't, oh man, it was amazing.
It is interesting, those who do wait to the end as well.
Well,
You-
yeah,
there's
well,
a
they're
lot
the
of
ones that
strategy
really
there.
care.
So
Yeah,
it's-
Oh, yeah, it's like a game, you're right.
it is, yeah.
Cool, all right. Well, thank you for your time, Naomi. I know this is a big undertaking as well, and we appreciate your efforts in doing so.
Thank you.
All right, and, one of our faves, I'm so glad you're here tonight to represent and to talk about our 2025 year-end financial analysis.
Thank you. I am pleased to present the year-end financials, and the good news is we had savings in our expenditure budget, we had excess revenue in our revenue budget. This has allowed us to not only replenish the reserves that we've used this year and propose to use next year, but also fund an additional reserve. I'm recommending the capital reserve, which we can talk about in a moment. Visually speaking, I always like to go by the charts, but you can see that our final expenditure percent was about 97.12%. The majority of our savings was in the salaries and benefits lines, which if you have savings in salaries, typically you have savings in benefits. We can walk through the details of that in a moment. On the revenue side, if you arrow down to that, you can see that we experienced 102.88% of our revenues. Mainly the big number is interest, and again, we don't know where interest rates go, so we budget very conservatively. And then in the end, we like to see that we have money left over. We do like to pinpoint a little bit closer, but we get better at it every year, I think, while the interest rates are at this level. So between that and state aid, we had a fair amount of excess, 726,000. Again, we typically utilize our projections from our output reports from SED. Based on that, we'll get into, do you want to go through the next? Yes, let's do that. We go to the next chart, which shows how we calculate our fund balance. We start with our unreserved fund balance from the end of last year, which was 8.5 million. We took our revenues that we just looked at, 219 million. Our expenditures, including the carryover encumbrances, which is 209 million. That brings us down to, I'll say, our available balances to allocate to the various reserves that we have. And you will see those first three red numbers allow us to replenish what we have used in 24-25, but also the additional amounts that we had proposed to use in the 25-26 budget to balance that budget. So essentially our reserves are staying stable, which is a good thing. Our bond raters love to see that. Our reserve for workers and workers' comp liability is based on an actuarial estimate, so we will fund that to the proper level. The reserve for employee benefits, again, is a replenishment. And the one that was just approved by the voters in May, the capital reserve, we're proposing to use any excess for that, which is about $4.5 million. The reappropriation that we typically have every year is 1.5 million, which brings us down to 3.98% of fund balance for this year. And I mentioned the capital reserve because if you recall, we have an $85.5 million capital project on the heels of our 5 Maxwell project. It's one of the largest projects we've ever done. So certainly anything we can do to offset any debt service we might incur for that is only going to help our tax rates and our tax levies going forward. So I was eager to recommend that we put that in the capital reserve because we will be using that in the next couple of years to assist with that. Just looking into the next year, we carry the fund balance of 8.8 million. Conservatively, we budget 100% revenue, 99% expenditures. Ultimately, if we do nothing else, we end up with a 3.6% fund balance, which again just highlights that we really need to work at, as much savings as we can in our budget while still expending for the priorities that we've defined. And then the last spreadsheet looks at all of our reserves. And again, we just kind of talked about the contributions which are under the yellow line. So the activity above the yellow line is basically what's happened up through June 30th. And then you can see workers' comp, we're adding the 315,000. We go over to the ERS. We're not only just replenishing the 750, but also the 1,358,000. The TRS sub-reserve, we're replenishing the 725 that we appropriated for 25-26. Employee benefits, again, the 660,000. And then just to point out, the capital reserve that we just finished with. We fully funded that and fully utilized that based on voter approval for the various capital projects that we've had over the last few years. So since that one has basically been fully funded and utilized, we approved, or had the voters approve the capital reserve, which we're calling Capital Reserve 2, for the next round of monies that we'll allocate to capital projects. So that leaves us in a very stable and steady position as we move forward into the next year, which, as we know, we're gonna be opening up 5 Maxwell in the next year. So our reserves are very well funded, pretty much stable and increased, as we said, for the capital reserve. And puts us in a good position with our bond rating agencies, because when we have to borrow money, the better your bond rating, the lesser you have to pay in interest, which over the course of a 20-year project for repayment adds up to a lot of money. I did include the narrative. I won't hit on everything, but as we mentioned, we expended 97.12% of the budget. We had savings in each of the salary categories, and you can see we've had retirements, resignations, leaves of absence, both paid and unpaid. More so in the instructional and non-instructional. Of course, those are where the largest numbers of employees are as well. And as a result of savings in salaries, we then have savings in benefits. I'm happy to say we have some savings in health insurance of 1.2 million. It's always a guessing game as to where that's gonna fall with regard to what we predict the rate increase is gonna be versus what it ultimately is. And as you can see, it's kind of all over the board. We estimated 10% increase, and CDPHP came in at 9.9%. Prescription came at 10.35%, and Medicare Advantage was at 15%. I will tell you, we're probably going to see a similar range in this next year. The good thing is we have that very large rebate for prescriptions there, which is very helpful for our overall health insurance costs. And we had savings in all of the other categories, which I won't go through. Equipment, pretty much we fully expended all that we had budgeted there. We also have carryover encumbrances. Our contractual services, we had several items of savings listed there. Utilities, we had 161,000. General contracted services across the district and all contractual budget codes, 139,000. Various items, but nothing like hugely pushing that number, just an accumulation of various budget codes. Textbooks, pretty much expended that. Textbook plan, any savings that we get in textbooks, we typically put towards the other instructional supplies and aidable categories, as that allows us to do that. SED allows us to do that now. BOCES, we had savings of 155,000. Again, nothing earth-shattering, just several, I'll say on the larger side. Supplies, 410,000. Transportation contributed about half of that at 214,000. Cumulative building budgets was 98,000, but again, we're talking probably 250 budget code line items. Transfers to other funds, we had some savings of 110,000. That came from our special education budget. And if you might recall, for special education in summer, the district has to transfer 20% of the cost while we get aided for the other 80%. So we managed to see some savings there. And then on the revenue side, again, we talked about 102.88%. so excess over the budget. Our pilots came in at 260,000, which drove our savings in the real property tax items. State aid, again, there's a listing of items there. We utilize the output reports from SED. If we're over or under, it's because we, probably trued up our numbers a little bit more for timing of building aid, pushed the number one way or the other. Interest income, another big one, 1.8 million that we talked about. Federal revenue, 702,000 excess. Medicaid reimbursements, the bulk of that. Glad to see that they are reimbursing on a timely basis, and not rejecting all of our claims. And then the other revenue items are a number of smaller, budget line items, and I won't go through those, you can read those. So then, again, looking at our fund balance, as we said, we expect it, to, amount to about 8.9 million or 3.98%, which is less than our 4% statutory limit. This kind of just breaks down what we just went through in the charts, as well as those contributions that we're recommending, which will be in a resolution on the agenda. Any questions?
I have one question.
Sure.
So, I see the federal revenue, that excess, yay. What about title grants? Federal title grants, what are we anticipating and how is that reflected here?
It's not reflected here because this is just the general fund budget.
Okay.
Certainly the title grants, we anticipate that we will have some of our expenses funded by the grants and some will remain in the general fund. We try to strike a balance there so that we're not overestimating how much money we're gonna get, because we know that they are,
That's
you
what I
know,
was wondering. Okay.
thinking twice about how much they wanna give us. So we kind of do I don't wanna say an average, but we kind of, target the ones that we feel that we'll be able to fund through the federal grants and not double count them.
So, Kathy, looking at the headwinds coming our way, from federal and state, right? So the fact that I think it's important to know and put a pin in the fact that we're stable, knowing that the money is not gonna be we're not gonna have the lucrative money that we've had in the past couple of years. But I'm happy to sit here amongst us all and say that we're in good shape going into 26. And we just need to be we have to be a little bit more careful, I would expect, yeah?
Yes.
I'll just add that in the recent onboard from NISBA, we talk about that, actually in the special edition, the pull-out section, they talk about the upcoming budget challenges that they see, because the state can pick up some more now, but that is not long-term. In fact, it sounds like they may be able to do it this year, the coming budget, in a limited capacity, whereas they were able to meet without a problem the one that just passed. But so there's so many unknowns, it's completely unknown territory. We're all kind of in it together.
Yes.
But yeah, okay.
And you will receive, we have a title grant presentation that comes up in a few weeks and you'll get an overview. We have received all of our allocations as of this point, and we were pleased to continue to receive the Title IIIA immigrant, which we hadn't received prior to last year. We did receive that again, even though amounts have been adjusted. You'll see that they've been adjusted in a reasonable way that allows us to continue programming. And I think we talked earlier about how we planned in last year's budget in case those funds didn't come through because of all of the changes that were occurring at that point in time. And then with your title funds, there are a certain percentage that you are allowed to carry over from year to year. So as Kathy's talking about the savings that we've realized this year in our district budget, when we don't fully expend in our various title grants, we're able to carry over about 15% of our Title I funds if we don't expend all of those. And then based on the amounts that you have for Titles 2, 3, and 4, there's a certain amount of carryover that you're allowed, so you're able to continue to utilize those funds. We do our due diligence to maximize them, to the extent practicable. But when some programmings don't happen or we don't need all the hours, much like the staffing things that Kathy presented this evening, then we will have funds that we are able to leverage the next year. But you'll get a full update on what those numbers look like for this coming school year in a few weeks.
For this report, it's like 3.6%, we're still under the 4%. And then you're gonna share what it is for the next one. Good to know, thank you.
I just wanna, I'd like to highlight the fact that just a couple of months ago, we were talking about pulling from our reserves to a significant degree. And now not only are we putting it back, but we're prepaying the new capital plan. I can't tell if I'm super excited about this or I feel like maybe we just calculated a little funny, right? But it's good, it's all very, very good. But 3.98 is a little close.
Yeah, the interest part was pretty big.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
And the Fed's probably gonna cover it.
And that's the second year in a row.
It's very good.
Last year as well.
Yes.
But really, we're in an excellent position, compared to 3 months ago, so it's good.
Compared to a lot of other school districts.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we've always thankfully budgeted really well.
Got a great team.
So, yeah, and it's wonderful to see you back.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy.
Moving into consent items, start out with the treasurer's report. Can I get a motion? It was a tie, but I'll go Augusta first, Petra second. All in favor? No comments or questions, right? Sorry. Kathy took put a pin in it. All in favor? Motion passes. Okay. Minutes, we'll combine them for August 5th and August 26th. I understand if you weren't here, it's okay, you can still vote. Can I get a motion? Naomi's first, Andrea's second. No real comments on this one, can I, all in favor?
Over and done with.
Motion passes, yeah, right. Thank you. Action items. Reserve allocations, Kathy just did a great job, we had some great commentary. Can I get a motion? Petra's first, Mary Colleen is second. Any further comments? All in favor? Motion passes. Okay, adoption of revised 25-26 tax warrant, which if you didn't review, we have here, we will all sign it once we vote and approve. Can I get a motion? Carla's first, Naomi is second. Any comments on it? This was the equalization rates, you can all look at it, once we vote on it, I'll pass it around.
And it's just because we only recently received the rates from
Correct.
some of the towns.
Yep, had to re-up, we had to re-up the. All in favor? Motion passes. Okay. We take 3 off, because I got the old agenda here, so, approval of the 25-26 organizational chart. Oh, did I miss one?
Oh, it's
Did
still
I?
on there.
It's still on there? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
We could approve the people that are on it.
Oh,
And
you're
we can
right,
always change
Naomi,
it
yeah,
now.
that's right, I thought we were just going with one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, agreed, okay. Approval of the 25-26 audit committee members that sit currently on it. Can I get Naomi's first? Can I get a second? Petra's second.
And it's Naomi and
Bob Presley
Bob Presley.
and, who's our third?
Carla Thompson.
Carla Thompson. Thank you, Carla, for your time too.
Great.
All right. All in favor? Motion passes. Thank you. Approval of the 25-26 organizational chart. That's Dr. Wilson Turner and I talked about to us previously, but here it is once again. We've had time to digest it, talk about it. So yeah, great job with this. Thank you. A lot to look at, a lot of positions here, a lot of teams. So can I get a motion? Augustus first, Mary Colleen is second. Any further comment?
I actually have a question, why do we vote on this? Is this an SED requirement?
It's in our policy,
Oh.
and so every year it's reviewed and presented for an action item for voting.
You never know that one person that comes and goes, I didn't know this person was, even though we vote on everybody that, is here.
It can still change.
Second check,
I
yeah.
was quite sure, it's an emotion.
It will change.
Car driving off the lot.
No, not change.
I'll send it tomorrow, but yeah.
All in favor? Motion passes. Thank you. 3 bids for waste removal services, charter bus service, and electric work and natural gas. The 3 bids. So if you got a chance to look at them, it's all broken out. Detail is there on what we will be voting on. They went through the correct bid process and details are noted. Can I get a motion? Petra is first. Mary Colleen is second. Any further comments? Motion? Can I get a motion? Okay, motion passes. Thank you. And then we'll split out 6 for all the contracts, the IMS CDW-G. This is, see, Ray was here, Ray went, to enable or disable computer accounts. So that is the vendor that we're going to use. He wants to use for that, so we want to bring that forward. Can I get a motion? Carla is first, Naomi is second. Any further comments? Can I get a motion for all? Motion passes. Thank you. Special Education, ELUS, LLC, DBA Learnwell. This is one of the special education student contracts that we have to approve by the board. Can I get a motion on this? Gus is first. Andrea's second. Any further comment or question? All in favor? Motion passes. Thank you. And then the second one, Special Education Tuition Contract, Center for Disability Service, DBA Langen School. Contract that we have to approve by the board. Can I get a motion for a student? Mary Colleen is first, Carla is second. Any further comments or questions on this one? All in favor? Motion passes. Thank you. Scholarship and local grant donations. This is grant donation tonight, both from Hannaford and United Way, one to Carrigon and one to Chango. Amount of $97. Awesome stuff. With gratitude, can I get a motion? Petra is first, Naomi is second. Comments? With appreciation. With appreciation. Yes. All in favor? Motion passes. Miss Bree Hazelton is making her way up for the acceptance of special education placements.
Good evening. For your approval tonight are the special education student placement recommendations.
Any comments for Bree? Can I get a motion? Naomi's first, Carla's second. All in favor? Motion passes. Thank you, Bree. And then Ms. Scalia's up for approval of staff and recommendations. Another long roll.
Yes. So you have the staffing recommendations in front of you tonight. I would like to point out that we have one retirement with appreciation. That is Lori LeRae. She's retiring after 13 years of service at Shen, and she's currently a teacher aide.
Congratulations, Lori, and I hope you have an awesome Part B to your life plan. Okay, can I get a motion? Petra's first, Gusta's second. Any comments for Jenny? Can I get a motion? All in favor? Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Galea. And we head back to public comments one more time. We sweep around because it is a business meeting. Anybody from the public like to come up? Hearing none. Vanessa, do we have anybody? Thank you. And we head into the good of the order. This is an opportunity for our members of the board to discuss salient district-related matters from a policy or just give a shout out. Anyone? Petra?
I thought of what I wanted to say. Just took me a little while. First of all, I do agree, the opening day was fantastic. Good job everybody who was there. Really good energy. I wanted to mention 230 plus new families. We have the new family welcome this Saturday, which I think was originally put on by Matt Davis, and I think is just the best idea ever. And it's not just for new families. I think kids that are interested in what's here and to be offered, both at Chen and in the community, can come take a look. I think it's 10 to 12 at High School East. And it's a great idea, and for anybody who wants to come, if they've been here forever or one day, they should take a look. Also, we had our tenure recipient, the tenure party is gonna be next month, and it's always my favorite night. Just being able to welcome and congratulate the teachers and administrators, so much fun. So great job to everybody in advance.
Anybody else?
Naomi, I think you have. Yes, I did, it's on one, but I think it's an important shout out. At our last meeting, we approved our safety plan, thank you, Mrs. Carmen. But Andrea and I were at the facility meeting last night, and one of the things I thought was really important is that she, in the room, in the little theater, in front of all these people that are community users essentially, but also booster clubs and other ECAC clubs. She went over a lot of things, but she also talked about something that was sent to families that I thought was really well executed. And so she went over it with those present, and then Mrs. Kramer and Mrs. Pigeon, I think is the other lady, did a presentation on, this is how you do it as far as facilities. But I really liked hearing, and I actually wrote down a few of the things because I read the letter that went out to all the families, and it went over so many important things that people ask about all the time. But it started with immersing yourself, how to do that, forging strong connections with the administration and school principals and the teachers, upholding safety initiatives by having conversations, also talking about the cell phone policy and why it's a problem, to call your kids if there is a drill or something of that nature. Also, and this I was pleasantly surprised to see, but it talked about motor vehicles on the campus, and of course we hear about that too tonight. All these things so very important, but I think that just sending that out as a reminder. I know it only went to the families with students in the district, so I was thrilled to hear it, being that my sons have graduated now. But I just wanted to give a shout out to that. I thought it was really well executed and timely. So.
Anybody else? I do have one thing. If my fellow board members, if you, Vanessa sent it out again, but somehow we had a little snag this year, I don't know why. Our liaison and committee assignments, if you find that somebody is lost, a school is lost and they don't know who their assigned is, we have the list, so if anybody needs a copy of it, we have it. Vanessa did send it out again, so take a look at that. And then, yeah, so in the Shenendehowa Education Foundation, but the Hall of Fame, September 25th, if you are looking to do that, please, Lucas is allowing us to attend, so that's awesome. It'll be a great night, even if you can come for a short time. So just make sure you get back to him before, I think, Monday. We have to have a head count for that. So, yeah.
That was a very gracious invitation too, by the way.
Sponsored by the Shenendehowa Education Foundation. Let me just put that plug in there.
Okay, for dinner.
Dee, what are those dates?
September 25th. We have to have a head count by Monday, this Monday coming.
Okay.
All right. And with that, can I have a motion to adjourn? Means first. Gusta's second. All in favor. Thank you, everybody, for your time tonight.